Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Jobless Weebs, episode 76. We have a great treat for everyone today, but first of all, I'm Brian, and with me today as always,
Marco the Beer Bomb Mexican.
that's right. And how have you been lately?
Doing good. Work has been peaceful.
Nice.
Probably not so much next week. But-
Next week, yep.
Yeah, I've been working a lot in, my hobbies.
Oh, yeah.
I've been starting a lot of things that I haven't finished, and I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, I'd like to do this. I'm gonna start it too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
probably I need more discipline.
Sure.
One of my goals for this new year is map at least one song a month for the Beat Saber,
Ooh, there you go.
which is a challenge because I think I'm musically challenged. So it's like, yeah,
Oh, okay.
music it's not one of my fortes, but still I want to do that because it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Plus, it helps me with all the video editing and stuff, and yeah, I just want to do more
There you
with
go.
the channel just for fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How are you,
Yeah,
Brian?
I've seen. Oh yeah, I'm doing pretty okay. I've mostly been taking things slowly, but I've been having a pretty exciting week, and some things are like moving along in my life, so it's pretty exciting. I hope things work out, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I
Yep.
hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. But the ideal, as always,
Jobless
is
Weebs.
Jobless Weebs.
Of
That's
course.
right. Yeah, actually, I've been playing a lot of Terraria lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. So, future me, I hope you beat the game. Well, today we have a kind of a unique anime to talk about today. I wanted to cover this one. It came out in the last couple of years. I want to say even 2017. Well,
It's 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
So this anime is called The House of the Lost on the Cape. So I have the Blu-ray DVD right here. Yeah, and it is kind of a long title, The House of the Lost on the Cape. So it's kind of like it's kind of an odd name just because it is kind of long, but it actually in Japanese it refers to a Maya-iga or Mayo-iga, which is kind of like a folklore house,
Yeah.
which can only be found by like those who are lost or those who are like in the mountains and they can't really like find their way in their lives. And so these houses that people stumble upon give them like hospitality and comfortable living, pretty much. So I was drawn to this movie when I was like first hearing it announced back in 2021. I came across it and I even wrote a little blurb about it for like almost like a anime news about it.
Oh,
So it's
really?
really cool. Yeah, I think I still have it somewhere. Maybe even on my one of my websites or something. But it's fascinating because this movie is actually like one of and it's a project. It's like one of 3
Oh.
movies. Yeah, and it's basically movies that promote certain areas of Japan, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was on my list. I didn't know about
Oh yeah.
that being a set of movies.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And I think it recently came out on the States
Yeah. it
last
did.
year, sometime in 2022. I mean,
Mhm.
we're just a couple of weeks.
All right. Now we're in 2023.
2023,
It's
so,
so weird to think because we can't really say like, oh yeah, now we have to say last year for 2022.
Yeah, because
Which
last year just
still-
feels weird. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
2021,
still feels weird.
not quite. But yeah, I mean,
That's right.
it's a great movie. And now that you mention it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's like the house. It's a folklore one. I remember now a couple movies that have been latching into the idea of a living house.
Oh, yes. Ooh.
I mean, the latest one that comes to mind is
yeah.
Encanto from Disney.
Okay. Exactly.
But
yeah, very similar idea.
there's some other movies that I just can't remember on top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that that
That's
concept
similar.
of a living house.
Yeah.
I always thought like, where did it grab it from? And Japanese folklore is immense.
It is.
So
very and also very, very old too. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, it's a great idea of how a living house gives some sort of comfort, and
Oh yes.
this is gonna sound redundant, but it's like
sure.
a home.
Oh,
to people.
Yes. Well, no. I think that's very valid to say because even in this movie, we see that exact theme with Yui and of course Hiyori also, because they both struggle with like their home lives in their own ways, or like kind of like their childhood homes, but then this new home literally is a home for them. So yeah, I think that's really valid to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The anime takes place after the tsunami and the earthquake,
Oh yeah.
and it happens in Kitsunesaki, and that's in Fukushima. Their story focuses on three girls, or
Yeah.
there's an. Let's call the lady a girl too.
Sure, yeah. Yui,
Everyone's young.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, everyone is young. How young are? Yeah, so we have Hiyori.
Hiyori is
She's the youngest.
She's the elementary girl?
Yeah, she's the elementary girl, Hiyori. And then we have Yui, which is more like she's a high school.
Yeah, I think she's 17 and she's escaping
she's 17.
from. The synopsis said she's
yes.
escaping from her abusive husband. Is like, no.
Wait.
Yeah, the synopsis
What?
says, yeah.
No way, the synopsis says.
Yeah, her violent
let's
husband.
Correct it. Oh my gosh, no way.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's
So
not
my
her.
M&A list
It's her
is
violent
incorrect.
dad.
That's right, it is her dad. So she's a high school runaway.
Yeah.
And
the girl Hiyori, well, that's not her real name, but it later comes to be. She is an orphan.
yeah.
Her parents died, and due to the shock, she ended up being mute.
Yep.
So
for quite a while. And so we begin the movie with basically a disaster area, and well, it kind of like jumps around also because we kind of first see them walking to the Cape and then like starting to go into this house basically, and the old lady, they call her Oba-chan for grandma. I think it's like
her name is Kiwa.
Kiwa, that's right, Kiwa. So they all kind of go to this house at the Cape, and we have flashbacks to where they were at an evacuation site, and that was the earthquake that they experienced. And then we find out that Hiyori was kind of like with some relatives, and they also disappeared. We don't really we don't have like that closure of what exactly happened to them, but that's where Hiyori is. And then Yui, we see her as kind of like a very standoffish, but very like outspoken, where if anybody like this guy like pushes by Hiyori, but then Yui calls out, "Hey, like like what you did, like that was not nice." But she's also kind of dealing with some problems, as we saw with flashbacks with her dad, and then Kiwa. She's just a grandma. She's a really good grandma. She's kind of
it came off weird to me.
Really?
Because it was like, oh yeah, they're my granddaughters. And it was like, oh, they were your granddaughters. I didn't know that. And she's like,
yeah, that part.
Yeah, isn't that right? Let's go home.
But yeah,
and I was like, okay, you know what? It's like she seems like a sweet old lady, but but no, don't do that. If that happens to you, don't. If it's stranger, even if it's an old lady, no.
Yeah, and this is an anime, so they go along with it.
I mean, at the same time, Yui was wary.
Oh, that's
of her, because she was like, okay, you're being way too nice to us. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna eat us? Or are you gonna?
Exactly.
Because they go to this house that is clearly far away from the nearest town or from the nearest relief center. Yeah. And it's like an old shack.
Yeah, it basically is. It looks run down.
It's kind of ugly. It's kind of destroyed because it seems that the tsunami or the earthquake also clearly affected that house too.
Yeah. And the grass is overgrown.
But the old lady, Kiwa, she starts telling folklore stories of, the area.
Oh, yes.
Which I thought that was good, because there are lots of places that have those like urban legends,
Oh, right.
And Japanese culture, a lot of countryside, again, to what Japanese anime have taught me.
Oh, yes.
Is like the countryside has a lot of urban legends and yokai and that mysterious kind of like feeling of like there's something fantastic, magical to a point that happened here a long time ago.
Yeah, and where it's like you can soak it up if you're there, or you can like feel it when you're there, and it's great. And it seems like Kiwa, the grandma, she knows a lot about those types of things, and the two girls, they're listening, but they're also kind of like, why is she doing this? And the funny thing also with how Yui was wary was when Hansel and Gretel, the little storybook, was handled like was taken out by Hiyori, and so Yui was like sideways looking at it, or like
you know that story, right?
You know it, right? Like, and look at what she's doing right now. Like they're in the hot tub, and she says, she said also that they're gonna like cook them or something, and the hot tub scene, that was so funny. But yeah, with the storytelling, there were a few of them.
Yeah, but like
three
or four stories, if I remember correctly. The first story was about a house.
Yes,
because
that was the first one.
Because Kiwa didn't tell them like, "Hey, this is the house."
Right.
She was like, "There's a story about a house."
Yeah.
There was a lady that she was in the mountains looking for someone and found this really huge house, and in this house, there was enough food to call it a banquet.
Yeah. Feast.
And it was empty. Like, she freaked out, and
she did.
She left.
Like, who on earth would have this food. I don't see anybody. Yeah, she literally just runs away.
So she runs away, and another day,
Mm-hmm.
when she is by the river, she finds this really pretty bowl, and whenever she used it to fill it with rice, then
There
turns
would,
out that the rice never ran out of it, and
Yeah.
they were like, "What the heck?"
yeah.
So suddenly, people started going to the
Uh-huh.
house that was hidden in the mountains, and they started being really prosperous and stuff.
and she was called basically the village elder from that time. Yeah. Oh, it's
And
incredible.
the second story was
Oh, yes.
about a snake.
Yeah. And this one is like there's a monster that's plaguing the people basically, but from sea. Anyone who approaches from the beach gets eaten or like pulled away, and then if people try to approach by the sea on boats, the boats are like cut in half or severed in half. And it was really cool because this one,
Did the snake?
yeah,
Because the snake was feeding off from people. Was it like
their grief,
fears? The grief.
their
Okay.
fears, but specifically their grief and
Okay.
sadness. And so what the people found out was that they can try to like fight back, but this monster would show them their loved ones in a very sad way by its red eyes. So the story goes that there's this guy who basically opens up his door one night and sees foxes giving him or leaving him a knife. So he takes the knife, and when everybody is doing like a song and a dance, he's able to vanquish the monster by stabbing it in the eye. And she gives the reason that and that fox dance is like a reoccurring thing also.
Yeah, kind of like a lot of things are happening because
But that's
I didn't
one
notice
story.
at the beginning because I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know how any of this makes sense.
Really? Oh yeah, you know.
But then,
there were a lot
you
of things
understand,
that were
'cause
like,
it's
why are
like
they showing us
this-
this?
These three people, Yui, Hiyori, and Kiwa, they're
Yeah,
going off on their days
just
like
normally-
normal.
part-time
Yui,
job.
she gets a part-time job.
Mhm.
Hiyori, she goes back to school.
Yeah,
Kiwa,
she does her grandma
she's mysterious.
stuff.
So,
yeah. Oh yes.
but it's like in this town where they're still recovering from this huge natural disaster, they're like, well, you know what? It's not good for us to be all sad and lamenting ourselves. So we're gonna do this festival, and we're gonna do this dance, the fox dance. And so that is when Kiwa tells them the story, like, oh
yes,
you know
that's
what?
when-
This fox dance actually comes from a story that originated a long time ago that about this huge snake, this monster snake that was at the sea, and they managed to kill it with like music and a festival, and they sealed it away pretty much.
Yes. Oh yes. That was also an odd thing that was kind of hard to imagine since they didn't really show it. They talked about 3 kilns like under the sea. I'm not like I watched it in Japanese with English subtitles. It had the word kiln, so I'm not sure exactly what it was supposed to look like. I imagined it more of like some sort of seal or like a shrine that was sealed. And then that's when Kiwa also says that there are 4 kilns, and one of them was very, very deep, but was broken in this disaster that just happened. So something has escaped.
Yeah,
Go there.
and the movie just becomes a little weird.
With
Well,
the
it goes
kappa?
to a fantasy
It does.
Hard.
It does, yeah.
because by this time you already know that the house is kind of magical, because also as the
Yeah.
movie progresses, as they're going to their day to day,
Uh-huh.
the house is just getting prettier and prettier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it's
They're
also after the
working.
story like, yeah, you know what? This
Uh,
house is here for people and to build a home, to find a home.
oh, yes.
And it eventually gets better things because the house wants essentially those people to recover from uh, whatever kind of wounds
Yeah.
the people living there are going through.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Mm.
they just mixed a lot of folklore,
They did.
which I thought it was great.
Oh, yes, me too. Yeah.
But
Into that kernel of story.
yeah, but
Into that
Kiwa was
core
still
story.
being really
Yeah.
mysterious until
Oh,
one day
yes.
Hiyori is kind of like spying on Kiwa and she
Mhm.
sees this kappa
Yeah.
and she gets all freaked out and the kappa are like, hey, how you doing? And Kiwa is like, don't worry, they're friends and they're gonna just check out some things. They're gonna check on the broken seals and they
Yeah.
confirm like, yeah, you know what, something's escaped.
Mhm. And they're kind of funny too.
Yeah.
They're just being Kappa, but like really weird personalities, and they're so funny when they like interact with each other. Oh, I also noticed with that part specifically that it seemed like Hiyori and like the expectation was that Hiyori and Yui would be like scared of the Kappa, and that reminded me that some of the Japanese folklore of the Kappa is that they're like kind of mean to humans sometimes. Like they're in the river, but they'll drag you down if they like if you interact with them. So that part was like pretty interesting that was the expectation that they would be like scared of them for those reasons. But Hiyori and Yui were a lot more okay with it when they like saw them and when they saw that Kiwa was like their friend, basically. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like
they were more
it's like
a little weirded out more
they-
than freaked out.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because they were like,
yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yes. Wow. Oh, such a funny part.
And from there we also get to see a lot
Oh yes.
a lot more folklore creatures like
Yeah.
the lion dogs.
Yes.
Don't remember their Japanese names, but it's like the
Oh yeah, the
kinda like-
lion dogs.
the
They're
English
basically-
translation is like the lion dogs.
It is, yeah. They're and these ones they were basically from the statues that they did see at the shrine beforehand, and so it was really great. It was really great to see that they like come to life and start interacting with them.
Yeah.
The lion dogs were pretty cool. And if we also see a lot of other yokai through the anime, the lion dogs probably the second most important one, other than the kappa, and then of course we do see a ton more, but it's pretty cool how they all come together and come to this area to like support this local area that was hit by the earthquake.
Yeah, I also like that because
Yeah.
I mean in several other animes they always draw the the yokai
Mhm.
as monsters or
Sure.
just individuals that they don't want anything to do with the humans.
Mhm.
And if they do, it's most of the time they're
Yeah.
mean. They
Right.
they play pranks or just straight up do bad things to humans.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's like no, they are kind of like coexisting with at least with the humans they know, They are like, yeah, having good communication and stuff. One of the things that I didn't like about the movie, and that's kind of like a me opinion,
Uh,
I thought that the movie, uh, there was a portion where it just moved really fast.
oh,
Because it went like they discovered that those seals were broken, and then suddenly like the little snake
yes,
started appearing, and the
yeah.
huge snake appeared, and the eye of Sauron appeared.
Ah, yes, freaking like in the clouds. Actually, it did seem kind of fast. The part that seemed fast to me was basically the morning that Kiwa was gone, and Yui and Hiyori wake up and they see that she's gone, and for some reason know that like she's going off to battle this
Yeah.
huge thing. It's like, okay, yeah, that seems a little fast to me. So yeah, I can see that it is fast. Um, the floating eye in the sky, that was really really weird. It was like a huge orb eye just in the sky floating, which was really odd because that it seemed different than like the stories Kiwa told, um, or like indicated what would happen. I guess it was some sort of runaway effect of the people's sadness,
Yeah.
um, of the whole area. It like made the monster even bigger or worse. The knife, Kiwa tried to use it by stabbing it in its body, which didn't work. Uh, and so I guess the monster somehow got even more powerful with even more sadness. Oh, also another really sad thing was, um, whenever people saw the eyes, it increased their grief, but it also makes them want to leave the area, like
Yeah.
abandon the area. I thought that was really fascinating because it goes back to that idea of Japanese and folklore being very, very localized to where you live in like the countryside, but like it's very connected to the land.
Yeah.
That was a really cool aspect.
But during that moment, it's when we see
Mhm.
uh,
Oh yes,
good character development from Yui and from Hiyori.
yeah,
The stuff that they were suffering, that
yeah.
it's, I mean, they managed to move on
Mhm.
and to kind of like be brave, and
Oh yes,
and get over it.
right.
Because
Because what was happening was they were running away in near like the beginning and the middle of the movie. Hiyori ran away from the fox dance instead of staying and going through the song. She ran away from the experience, and then Yui also ran away when she saw a I think it was a figment of her imagination, but she saw an appearance of her dad walking through the store, so she froze and ran away too.
yeah,
So that kind of character, and it turned out to be like somebody else totally different, apparently. But yeah, that characterizes that they couldn't face their grief at that time. Yeah, this part, it's when they turn around and they try to face that. It's the one where the dad basically shows up for Yui to take her away. Oh man. And then Hiyori, well, that's when we see a lot of like flashbacks also, but Hiyori has the character development first.
yeah,
Would you?
yeah.
Oh
Because
yeah,
she's just like
that's what I
remembering
was thinking.
the accident of her parents, and now and
Yeah,
then the people who was taking care of her, and then the
yeah,
tsunami, and so
right.
and now she was losing like her big sister
Yeah,
because
they were
of the
created
hallucination of that. But they didn't know about it. So
right,
so she's like, no,
it.
don't take my sister. And then she managed to catch up with that. And Yui also is like, yeah, you know what? I'm like, get the heck away from me. And
right, let me
and
go.
then the dad disappears. Turns out that it was a freaking snake.
Yeah, one of those freaking red-eyed snakes. That was a little weird because it's like, oh, okay. So that was that. Yeah, they got us good.
And then they remember like, oh, you know what? We actually know how to beat this monster because Grandma told us like, yeah, it's music, and when we're playing music, then she or it weakens.
Yeah.
And then Grandma can deal the final blow. And
yeah,
I didn't quite like that part because it was just the three of them. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I was expecting, maybe like the whole town just starting, like breaking into the song and the fox dance.
Yeah,
and then that would weaken the snake, because they just the three of them, and with the lion dogs.
Oh yes,
they just flew and they started like playing the flute,
and then Yui had to go up on the lion dog and like fly through the air, and then use her bow and arrow basically to shoot the snake in the eye. Yeah, I would say that part did feel rushed to me.
Yeah,
specifically that part.
Especially because at the next day nobody remembered anything. So I thought that was a waste.
Okay.
I mean, for my part, it's like, you know what, that should have been the whole town, and then they were on the next day they were celebrating because it's like, we beat whatever the heck that was.
Right. Well, it is a little bit odd that it was just them. Which was strange because the snake grew. It to me, this is what I was thinking. To me, in my mind, the snake was the physical representation of everybody's sadness, especially when the snakes were like eating the flowers off of everyone's backs.
Yeah.
I wonder if that had anything to do with any folklores. I didn't recognize it whatsoever, but the snake grew apparently by eating these flowers from people's backs, and then the snake grew. So yeah, it's like it's everyone's collective grief because the snake represents that terrible thing, the terrible sadness from the terrible thing that happened, the earthquake, and then it was just them defeating it. So yeah, it would have been nice if everyone came together. I guess it was their battle. For some reason, I don't know, but yeah, it would have been cool to see everyone come out.
Yeah, I mean, the movie was about
the three of them.
The three of them.
That's true. It is. But, it was about them three. Yeah,
and it was just them, kind of like building home for the three of them.
Yeah.
But they were still, creating some connections with the townspeople. So yeah, I would have liked to see that connection that they created, because they did interacted with the people in town, whether if it was for school or for like the part-time job or whatever reason for the festival.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have liked that more, but at the same time,
right, the festival itself would have been cool.
Yeah,
to see.
At the same time, I remember because like the story said, like, the snake was making everyone to go away from the land until the land was empty. So maybe also people living there, they were new settlers that didn't know anything, neither about the house nor any other legend. So that's why maybe they like on the next day after the serpent
they couldn't remember.
they weren't aware because they weren't like
Maybe.
the original settlers.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of that is left
Oh,
to your imagination.
that's right. Yeah.
So the ending
I
is
like that way.
it's very open ended.
It is. It's a nice ending. Like at the very end, we get to see the three of them kind of being together in the house again, in their home, basically talking about the future. Yui basically decides, she wants to. They ultimately decide to stay as like a unit in this home, living together for a while, like a family. So they basically talk about their future plans. Yui basically says that she may leave one day, but she'll always think of this particular place as her home, as her hometown, which I thought was wonderful. Oh, it was so good. She basically grew from being stuck from her bad relationship previously to a good relationship here. And then Hiyori, this was kind of nice. Hiyori basically says, I want to become like grandma. I love that part. And that's the other thing too, because the grandma, Oban-chan, she is this mysterious lady because she has that close relationship to these yokai. So now Hiyori says that she wants to grow up to be like her, being friends with these yokai. They call them also enigmas, but yeah, it was very, very nice to see that. Oh, it was really good.
That was a good ending.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like
I like
saying like,
that.
this house, this really nice house that takes care of you, it's here for everyone, but also that means also that everyone eventually has to leave.
Yeah.
So kind of like saying like, this is a good place, this is a resting place, this is a place for you to cure whatever.
Yeah, like they're lost in their lives.
Yeah. I mean,
come
hence the title.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But this is not your final
here.
stop. It was like, this is like a good place to rest, to find yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're not staying here because you have some other place. And like, yeah, you know what? Like, that's a good philosophy.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I thought that was so beautiful. It was so good. I love it. I love this movie. I love the folklore behind it. All the stuff. There were also pretty cool details with like how other houses different to the other Mayoigas. One was like super elegant, and it's like the very first house of this type ever, and it's like the best, and it looks incredible. I loved those shots, just the artwork of it. Oh, so good. That's another thing I noticed. There were a lot of still shots. Did you know it was directed by the same guy who directed Nonon Byori?
Wait, really?
Yeah. Here, let me pull it up. Yeah, let's see here. So, pretty sure that it is... Oh, and of course, it's produced by David Production. But it was... From my sources, it's directed by Shinya Kawatsura. Also known for Kokoro Connect and Nonon Byori.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I like Kokoro Connect too.
Yeah, so I could actually see some of the feelings of that coming through this movie. So that also was pretty incredible to me. So if you like Nonon Byori, you might like this one because there are a lot of like scene shots that are still, and it just goes through a lot of those types of shots.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I finished Nonon Byori for like the 12th time yesterday.
There you go! Wow! Well, there you go. Wow. Yep.
Oh boy.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it was a great movie. If you haven't
Yes.
watched it,
Yeah.
go watch it.
Mhm.
It's a pretty chill movie. So,
Yes.
like,
it's very, very
if
chill.
you're relaxed or if you're really stressed and want something to relax,
Yeah.
it's just like chill. Just watch that movie. It's yeah. But yeah,
That's right.
that was it for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. And till next time.
Yep, keep watching anime.